What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Classic WoW video for Season of Discovery. And before we get too far into the video, I want to say this will be a reaction video, so if that's not your style or that's your type of thing, well, you have been warned. Today we're talking about, has Season of Discovery become too boring? And before I even watch the video, I've only read the subtitle, not the subtitle, the title so far, and I want to talk a little bit about what I've been seeing. I've been playing a little bit more Season of Discovery in the last couple of weeks, getting back in and prepping for phase 4 and doing the raid every single week because we have an active guild and we're doing the raid every single week. And what I've been seeing is a lot less people have been coming back than what I was hoping for and that I was expecting. I was expecting a lot more people to come back for phase 4, and I was hoping for a lot more people to come back for phase 4 as well. And I just want to say, I see that it's kind of sad for me to say, but I see more people playing on Classic Era servers than I do on Season of Discovery. That's not even a joke. I'm going to log out right now and show you guys what it looks like on a Classic Era server. This is Season of Discovery. Not only that, this is Season of Discovery on Living Flame, the most popular, or at least it used to be, I think it still is, the most popular server for Season of Discovery. At least it used to be, like when I played actively a couple of weeks ago, or like over a month ago now, almost 2 months ago. Either way, Season of Discovery, Living Flame, Stormwind right here at 7 PM on a Friday. And let's see what it looks like on a Classic Era server, like Pharma. I've been playing a little bit on Pharma recently, just getting back into Classic Era and enjoying my time, just leveling casually, super casually. Let's go check it out. Now on Classic Era, you pretty much have the option of two different things. You have a simulated fresh environment happening on Deviate the Light North America, or Sandalar Tribe on EU, or you can play on Pharma on EU as well, which I'm doing right here, level 24 Dwarf Priest, and logging into this priest right now. Haven't even been on Classic Era today, but I was online yesterday, and I want to see what Stormwind looks like right now on Pharma. This is me logging in 6:57 PM, so 2 minutes later than Season of Discovery, and this is what Stormwind looks like on Classic Era. Now the thing is, on Classic Era, you have more servers than one together, so if I just look at someone here, they might be from a different server than, for example, this guy right here. He's from Ashbringer, but he's still showing up on Pharma because they have condensed several servers together, and I feel like this might be something they should do in Season of Discovery at some point to make it look, not just make it look, but make it feel more popular, more alive. Do the same thing there that they have done in Classic Era, because this feels better. Logging into Stormwind, seeing a lot of people, feels a lot better than logging into Stormwind and seeing 10 people. This right here reminds me of what Classic WoW actually is, and has always been. Just a bunch of people. The community itself is what makes the game to me, and it kind of breaks my heart a little bit to look at this compared to Season of Discovery. How popular this is versus SOD right now, and this is Classic Era on Pharma. Either way, I just wanted to talk about that real quick before watching the video, so here we go. Has Season of Discovery become too boring?
So a few weeks ago we spoke about what potentially went wrong for Season of Discovery, as we were trenched in the never-ending Phase 3, seeing Season of Discovery's popularity dwindle, with a few patch notes coming out and brief summary on what was coming in Phase 4 in parts. Yet it's felt like throughout the tenure for Season of Discovery, nothing has felt as bold or experimental as Phase 1 did, despite it being a self-proclaimed experiment by the Classic WoW team, and the vanilla with a twist was no longer feeling very twisty. However, recently we have had a big old video update from our favourite band of Classic WoW developers, giving us the lowdown on what to expect in Phase 4, now confirmed to be coming on July 11th. As our first teaser a few weeks back stated, we'd be getting Molten Core, and everyone kind of just went, okay, cool. Our developments felt a bit lackluster. However, with this new information dump, is it looking like Phase 4 could be on the way to save some of the popularity for Season of Discovery? Let's take a look.
But just before we jump in, feel free to like and subscribe if you're new here, as it helps me out a bunch. So thanks very much indeed. Now, let's get on with it.
So, at a very brief glance for the updates we got in Phase 4, it's been confirmed that the new phase will be with us on July 11th, where all vanilla dungeons and content except for raids will now be available. So anything that was locked before should now be open and ready for action. Alongside this, there was a new secret dungeon that has been teamed to be found in the demon area of Ashenvale, an area which I quite like and featured in the questline for getting Divine Storm for paladins. And to skim over the details, we are getting class changes where skills that were previously runes are now just becoming core-based skills. For example, Seal of Martyrdom for paladins is now just going to be a skill as opposed to a rune.
I do wonder if that brand new dungeon that they're making, or like they haven't even said it's a brand new dungeon, have they? I wonder if it's going to be an actually instanced dungeon with dungeon loot, or if it's kind of like the open world Sul kind of dungeon. Is it Sul Jin, or whatever it's called, in Sul Ottawa? Or something like that in the Hinterlands, you know what I'm talking about, where you're getting the mallet, for example. The whole troll area there with the elite is technically an open world dungeon. Is it going to be something like that, or do we actually have a dungeon, a brand new dungeon?
There's also the addition of the Blackrock eruption events, as well as further developments for itemization which we have previously been told about. And finally we head into Molten Core with supposedly one additional boss and a Nixia's lair. However, world bosses are delayed till July 18th and instanced raids on July 25th. So at Phase 4's launch on July 11th, not all the raid content is available, but at a super brief glance that's what Phase 4 will be giving us. Now, to be honest, all of that sounds pretty good to me, and how could this new phase save Season of Discovery or reboost its popularity in some way? Well, first of all, we have had people simply waiting for the level 60 cap for a long time now, due to not having access to certain core abilities and scaling talents, which had been an issue for previous phases when capped at lower levels, so these people will likely re-emerge. In terms of content, everything we have at vanilla besides endgame raids is available, so there's just naturally far more to do in the game in Phase 4, which is likely to drag players back in who have been waiting for such content to arrive over the past 6 months with that 60 cap. It's also worth noting, I think the long-term sustainable changes that have been implemented with class design is a big win for Season of Discovery at this point, in an attempt to steady the ship for future endgame content, where classes that had to choose between some pretty vital runes or runes you simply want to cycle in use no longer be in a pain when having to re-add these runes to your gear, or say you've pulled a boss and just forgotten to change them out. Having some of these runes as spells simply gives more options to classes and makes them more streamlined to play, and simply there is an injection of hype with each new phase. There will be returning players for Season of Discovery to give it that feeling of life back in the world, and I think the game will start to feel a bit more normal, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, for me, I felt the same, but then again, we're only a couple of days away now. Like, a couple of days away from Phase 4, and I'm still not seeing that massive an influx of people. And it's not like I'm playing on a dead server. I'm playing on Living Flame, and I'm just not feeling that return of the players. Am I wrong? Am I just online constantly at the wrong time? Always missing the hype or the train? I don't know, I was hoping for more people to return, hoping and even expecting.
Or at least things will truly begin to shape up for what we feel a potential Classic Plus would truly look like now, as there's been a lot of development and understanding as to what will make a vanilla with changes game mode tick in terms of how classes work. And there's a good chance that Phase 4 is the beginning of something really great on the horizon for Season of Discovery, and the long-term game plan for whatever is to happen with Classic WoW. We're finally at endgame at level 60 cap, and things should really start to hot up here in terms of brand new content, and experiencing the vanilla content everyone loves, but with classes that work a bit better in comparison to vanilla itself. But to be honest, my genuine first response to the video was that although there are some good long-term changes in there, I was left simply thinking, where is the new stuff? Are the bold and brave decisions that Phase 1 brought with it that got us all hyped in the first place? We've had a potential teased new dungeon and maybe a new boss in Molten Core with difficulty adjustments, but
this is exactly what I've been saying as well in pretty much all of my criticism videos about Season of Discovery and Phase 4. Where's the new stuff that we were teased when this was announced at BlizzCon? Where's my Scarlet Horse raid? What about the Potence of Uldum that they also talked about? Where's Karazhan Crypts that they also kind of teased? Where's all the new stuff? You might say that, sure, now we're at the level 60 phase, and they might add the new stuff in Phase 7 or Phase 8. At which point it's too late. It's literally too late. you should give us some of the new stuff now, and make even more new stuff in Phase 7 and Phase 8. But if you're teasing new stuff, we're 8 months in. We want a smaller taste of new stuff. And more of a taste than the, whatever the featherwood thing is. I don't know.
Is that it? Realistically, Phase 4 should be as big as Phase 1. Phase 1 was the brand new introduction to Season of Discovery, bringing about a true feeling of being in the vanilla world, but in an experimental and new exciting take on things. To reinvigorate players who, although want to stay in the classic world, also want something brand new in vanilla. Much like fans of old school RuneScape who have seen you stay true to the classic world whilst adding new content. And Phase 4 is the huge start of the endgame, where a lot of World of Warcraft's content tends to lie. And with vanilla WoW you certainly can argue that leveling is the biggest aspect of the game as the world is the main character. But with Season of Discovery's phase system and leveling through increments at a time, this has kind of been removed in many ways and doesn't feel like a huge journey anymore. It has been more about what happens at level cap, and getting to level 60, the true level cap, implicates the same thing for endgame content. Players' characters should now have access to all their talents, the potential to get all runes, and a true chance to now do everything you fancy in the game. So despite it being arguably the biggest phase getting to endgame, it feels pretty underwhelming to me. There's no grand gesture to say, hey guys, we're in the end game now, this is the true business side of things where it gets real big and exciting. Trust me, come back to Season of Discovery, get yourself to max level, and really see what Season of Discovery is all about. Just to show off some of the true potential and that things are worth sticking around for. Realistically, it just seems like there's not too much to get hyped about if I'm honest. I said this a few weeks ago, I love Molten Core and Vanilla Raids, and if this was fresh Vanilla era servers, I would be hyped to jump back into Molten Core big time. Yet running Molten Core with class changes just feels like a bit of a curiosity to me, not a big attraction that makes me want to dive into Season of Discovery and get really excited for the future of classic WoW. And whilst,
you know, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way, and I might feel even more that way because Molten Core is probably the level 60 raid that I'm looking forward to the least. Molten Core is Molten Core. We've been there multiple times. I was even there in Season of Mastery as well, and Classic WoW, I've been there in other versions of the game. I've been there on other servers back in the day, like you know what I'm talking about. I've been in Molten Core so many times. It's the raid that I'm least excited for myself. Blackwing Lair though, Set G, AQ, Nax, those are arguably better raids if you ask me. But I would love a Phase 4 to be like super good, to the point where everyone wants to come back. But I'm not seeing that happen. And if they want people to, first of all, come back and stick around, they have to give us a reason. They have to give a reason for you to really want to come back and invest your time, and not just for now, for the future. The thing about Phase 4 is it has to be good enough to pull you back to play Phase 4, but it also has to pull you back to the point where you're excited for the future phases, where you have faith in the team and the direction where you're going, because we're putting in time. We're developing our characters. We need to know that the time we're putting in is worth putting in, because we're not just here for Molten Core. We're here for the phases after as well. And I feel like a lot of people might be underwhelmed with what they have put into Phase 4, and therefore also preemptively feeling underwhelmed about future phases. It's just, if they don't deliver on Phase 4, why would they deliver on Phase 5 or Phase 6? Food for thought.
I understand that there'll potentially be more phases and maybe some new content along the line. The longer this kind of underwhelming approach continues, the more it seems a little too late. Now maybe from a development point of view for Season of Discovery, it makes entire sense. Keep things pretty safe and focus on class changes and itemization, getting things right. Seeing how this performs in endgame by tweaking some of the vanilla raids that already exist, and then bank all the huge exciting content for a future Classic Plus project. And while I'd say long term that does make a lot of sense, but to me still, this announcement in particular and the content reflecting for Phase 4, especially after the long slog that Phase 3 has been, isn't quite enough to keep me fully engaged, and I will probably get to level 60 at some point. But that's purely because I enjoy the class adjustments of Ret Paladin and I like Classic WoW, but I probably won't be committing myself to any form of regular raiding or playing Season of Discovery all that much from here in out, and especially if we just get regular vanilla raids. And if more players aren't bothered about Season of Discovery and continue to tune out as well, and not bothered by the content on offer, this might have have bad potential implications for any future long-term project. I mean, if that's the case, maybe we don't get a Classic Plus. Instead, we just get another season of Discovery for development, as the Classic team says, well, there simply wasn't enough engagement for long-term to build something truly sustainable, meaning that these safer...
You know, this is what I fear as well, is that they're using Season of Discovery as a success metric to determine how popular Classic Plus would be. And the reality is that they just have made the wrong decisions for a lot of people. We have two popular private servers here to pull a kind of inspiration from when it comes to making Classic Plus, and one goes left, one goes right. They went the wrong way, according to a lot of people. You have Ascension WoW, and you have Turtle WoW. They chose to copy a lot from Ascension WoW, and if you have played Ascension, which I have, you would know a lot of this is pure copy. The rune system is a system that server had. So once again, they're pulling a lot of inspiration from other private servers, and they had two big ones to choose from. One goes right, one goes left. They went left, most people wanted to go right. And they also didn't implement it well enough. It's just... I don't know. They went with the one where they put in a lot of changes, but they didn't put in a lot of the important changes. They're focusing on taking what we currently have and tweaking it, but also adding new stuff that nobody asked for. If you're gonna go down that route, give us 10 brand new dungeons, see which ones people like, which ones people don't like. Just do more new stuff, not just rehashed old stuff. New stuff, Potence of Uldum, Mount Hyjal, Uldum itself. What else do we have? We have Grimbat Hall. We have the zone behind Grimbat Hall. We have the zone up at Tirisfal Glades and next to the Western Plaguelands. We have unfinished zones in the game that you could do something with. We have multiple places to make dungeons. Another raid, Karasan Crypts, Stormwind Prison Cell. Right? So many things. I don't know. It's not what I was hoping for.
Decisions have come back to haunt them. Yeah, I can see why they're taking this route, and I think it does make sense from a sensible point of view. But I think the key issue lies with the fact that they came out and stated SOD is an experiment by their own description, then gave us some pretty bold changes in Phase 1, some nicer changes in Phase 2, then things have kind of fallen off for Phase 3 and Phase 4's announcement. We can't just be running Molten Core and Naxxramas like normal vanilla, but woo, here we go guys, don't you worry, you have Divine Storm now, get hyped. We will need some actual new content to see how the Classic team can manage introducing brand new content within the vanilla world. And I don't just mean transformed dungeons. And maybe this is potential.
That is what people want to see from Classic WoW as well. It is not giving mages Living Bomb and Hot Streak and all of the abilities from TBC, Wrath and Cataclysm. We want to see how the Classic WoW developers managed to make an expansion to Classic WoW set in the Classic WoW universe. Like, how would they make something like Karasan Crypts? How would they make brand new zones, brand new raids? If they're going to be doing experiments for a future Classic Plus, experiment on the things we want to see. Put in High Elves, put in Goblins, something like that, like 2 brand new races, right? And their starting zones, as something else than Goblins in Cata, for example. We want to see those things. Brand new things, Potence of Uldum, Uldum itself, Grimbat Hall, Mount Hyjal. We want to see those things. How do the developers put in brand new content? New dungeons, new raids, new zones, new questlines? How do they put those into WoW and make it make sense and tailor it together with Classic WoW, but also give you new stuff without making it like too different? It's kind of like they're experimenting on how to play basketball, but they're doing it by playing soccer. If you're going to learn how to play basketball, play basketball. Be specific. If this is the route they want to go for Classic Plus, I don't want it. I simply don't.
actually starting with this supposed hidden dungeon they're adding in Phase 4, but we need some hype to build and to capture some key interest for more than just vanilla or classic players who enjoy Molten Core. Whether that's a stretch of new dungeons or new raids, I really don't mind either way. I mean, go really crazy. Instead of Naxxramas being a raid, it could be redeveloped into 5 new dungeon wings like Scarlet Monastery, making it more accessible for lots of people. And the loot from these dungeons could be pre-biz raiding gear that people can farm to get into a brand new raid in Season of Discovery. That way you kind of still have access to vanilla content, but also something brand new. I mean, we've been seeing dungeons get turned into raids, so rather than rerunning the old endgame in vanilla, why not turn them into mega dungeons with a twist and implement some completely new raids for true endgame? Maybe this is something worth saving for Classic Plus, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt to give it a go. I mean, something big and bold like that would be one great ending, and solidify some pretty good confidence in me that Classic Plus would be worth trying out, and would be actually possible. And being honest, I still think they could easily pull something big off. I haven't lost faith by any means, I'm just a little disheartened or disappointed, like a lot of people are who just want Season of Discovery to be a real success and catapult us into something really great long term. I think for Phase 4 they had an option of go for fun or go for balance, and it seems Phase 4 went for attempting to balance the endgame a bit more and add some quality of life choices in there which seem quite reassuring, whilst trying to make sure there is also still some endgame content there for us to enjoy. But if there's going to be more phases, which I assume there will be, we need some fun injected back into Season of Discovery to remind us what we're actually here for, a fun new journey in a familiar world. And personally, I don't think Season of Discovery has massively fallen off or is dead or anything like that. There's just been a few bumps in the road, and hey, maybe Phase 4 is the start of getting things truly back on track. But do let me know what you think. Is Phase 4 the start of something really good for Season of Discovery, or have you lost all interest? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Yet as always, take care out there, and I'll see you on the next one.
Okay, there we go. Once again, I'll be linking the video down below in the comments, in the pinned comment. So go and show some love to Smooth Jazz Gaming as well. Subscribe to his channel and leave a like on the video. I believe that really helps him out. And once again, really good video. And I'm really happy to see that people share the same mindset that I have and have had now for, well, ever since the content drought of Phase 3. Like at the start of Phase 3, I really enjoyed Phase 3. But it really started falling off, and Phase 4 hasn't managed to grab my attention back and get me super hyped. It really hasn't, and I will play Phase 4. And I will be playing it a lot more casually than I have been playing previous phases, but I think that will help me enjoy the phase more as well, especially long term. So playing it more casually and just approaching it with a more reserved mindset, instead of going in screaming Phase 4 hype everywhere that I can, on the forums, YouTube comments, like being on Twitter, loving Aggrent 24/7, saying Phase 4 hype, Phase 4 hype. Instead of being that guy, I am going to be going in with a, I don't know what to say, like I'm not hyped, but I'm also not trying to hate. I'm just trying to go in and have fun without expecting anything. I think that's the best way for me to put it. I'm going to go in, try to have fun, but expect nothing. That's the mindset I'm going to go into Phase 4 with. No expectations, high hopes or semi-high hopes, and try to have fun. And overall, I do hope that anyone who plays Phase 4 has a good time, whether you're playing it 24 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 30 minutes per day, 5 hours per day. No matter how much you play, I hope you have a good time. And ultimately, I want Seasonal Discovery to be as good as it can be. I just think that for me, it's made a lot of wrong decisions. Incursions was one of them, but a lot of other things as well. It's just been so much that has happened, which I don't personally like. I really don't. For example, there's so many things now, so many runes to get, so many systems in place. It's starting to remind me a lot of retail, where when you start, you have a lot of hurdles to jump through before the game becomes fun. And they have tried to help you level faster in Seasonal Discovery, which to me might be the wrong catch-up mechanic, because leveling in Classic WoW is really important. It's one of the most important things in Classic WoW, is the world around you. Incursions completely killed the world around you, and then they made you level faster as well, to the point where you spend less time in the world around you. Something I would like to see is, instead of focusing on catch-ups, being focused on leveling at the speed of light and stuff like that, I would love to see rune catch-ups, reputation catch-ups, maybe some endgame catch-ups as well. like endgame loot catch-ups, I don't know, something like that. Instead of the catch-up they put in place now is speeding you to max level, like at the speed of light to max level, and then you have to jump through the hurdles. I would rather take my time leveling, learn my class, get some runes one by one, and get immersed into the gameplay, and also like get not just immersed, but you put in time to the point where you develop a connection to the world around you, to your character, and you feel more attached. And then speed me through the hurdles. If you're gonna put in catch-ups, help me catch up faster on runes instead of leveling. For example, that would keep the old world leveling relevant, and you would spend more time getting more attached to your character, and then once you're level 50 or like level 60 in phase 4, you could get into raids faster and have all your runes faster. As an example. So like the rune acquisition system has just been painful because there's like, what, 30 runes per class now? And some of them are really, they take a long time to go through. Like the Dark Riders, for example, stuff like that. Runes locked behind reputations, group quests. There's just so many things that locked behind. To the point where when you get to max level, you have to spend a day or two only gathering runes before you can finally play the game. Either way, small rant over, really good video by Smooth Jazz, and I don't think, like, to answer the title, has Season of Discovery become too boring? I don't think so. I think it's become too complicated. That's just for me. It's become too complicated, and I guess maybe too boring, like not that fun, but more so complicated than boring. They're putting in systems, too many systems. Like if you play retail and classic, one of the things people say about retail is that you level too fast and there's too many systems. What is Season of Discovery right now? There's a lot of systems, and then you also have the catch-ups in leveling to the point where you level up fast. It's retail light. It's retail light. I did not want that. Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to see them. Either way, that's a long reaction video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Once again, shout out to Smooth Jazz. Links down below. And thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you again in the next video very soon.